Well, last Wednesday we had a Wednesday night meditation, had a real nice meditation going on, but the recording didn't turn out very good. It had some glitches and the audio wasn't very nice. It wasn't very good to watch, so I thought I would redo what the subject of the meditation that we did, and just try to get the message across in a little different way. Just record it in my office here. What we talked about was again working with thoughts, and when we are really doing a lot of meditation, or even just meditating on a daily basis, we know that a lot of it has to do with the content of our thoughts, and sometimes wrestling with our thoughts, sometimes working with them in a very favorable way. And in an ideal world, we would want to make all of our thoughts beneficial. And there are ways of doing that, and that is through awareness of the thoughts, really watching them closely. When we start to become very, very subtle, or notice the subtle movement of mind in the area of thoughts. So it's like the mind watching itself. In other words, we're being aware of the thoughts. And that's what I mean by the subtle activity of the mind. We're able to see the thoughts come. And where do they come from? From the field of consciousness, basically. So one thing we want to remember is that these are not necessarily our thoughts. And the more we identify with them as being ours, the more painful that they can actually be. But when we are aware, and with the intention of being aware of every thought that comes up, we can actually find a way to use these thoughts in a very beneficial way. And it's interesting, and I think you'll agree that when we meditate and our surroundings become friendly, and there's very few disturbing factors in our meditation. In other words, everything is working well. The thoughts seem to come slower, and we can kind of have a choice of what we want to do with them. And some of the things that we notice that there can be gaps in between the thoughts. And a lot of times in meditation, that's what we kind of want to experience, is that these gaps getting bigger and bigger in between thoughts. In other words, there's more of an expansion of stillness and silence and presence from between one thought and the next. And that is actually one of the things that we notice, that this stillness before the next thought, and to expand that stillness before the next thought comes up. And we can also notice unuseful thoughts and kind of turn those down, or even turn them off in many ways. And that turning off of the unuseful thoughts, sometimes we can relate that to tuning down or turning off all of the thinking mind, at least for a while. And that's not really a goal of meditation to do that, but it is very blissful at times to be able to have that ability to turn off our thoughts. And a lot of it is just giving ourselves permission not to attach to them, and then they lose their power. Anything that we attach to in life has a really good chance and has the ability to cause suffering for us. So that's one of the things we really want to consider, is to watch our attachments, understand our attachments, whether it's mental attachments or even physical attachments, and be able to surrender and let these things go. So I would like to just have us do a short meditation here in regard to kind of something a little different that you might not have done before, about what we can do with these thoughts. And it involves some visualization. So I wouldn't necessarily call this Vipassana. Vipassana is a practice of seeing the thoughts and letting them pass by, this is a big part of, but I'm also asking you to visualize. So anytime there's visualization from from a Buddhist standpoint, we could also actually consider that tantric practice. Visualization is tantric. In the West here, we call it visualizing. And so sometimes when I lead somebody through a visualization, it almost sounds like it's a kind of a hypnosis session. But this is, I'm trying to make this as much of a guided meditation as possible. So please close your eyes, make yourself comfortable. And I'm going to walk you through this for a few moments and then just kind of ask you to allow the practice to continue as long as you would like it to continue. So again, close your eyes. And I'd like to remind you that we all have the ability to notice our thoughts. It's when we lose this ability by distraction that life can play havoc with us in ways that we feel we are powerless. The awareness of thought is much more powerful than thought itself. If we are able to notice, be aware of our thoughts, which one of these are we? Are we the thoughts, or are we the awareness of the thoughts? Which one is the true you? Are you not the watcher, the one that perceives, rather than the thing that's being perceived? Of course you are. You're the watcher of the thoughts. You're the awareness. So please visualize yourself sitting at a desk. See yourself sitting at a desk and writing down all of your thoughts as they flow from your mind. So you have the ability to write as quickly as you like. And all of your current thoughts are being written in a notebook in front of you. Now you also have the ability to categorize your thoughts. So you decide to make 3 categories: pleasant, or what we could call helpful thoughts that benefit you and all beings. Another category is unpleasant or harmful thoughts. And the third category is neutral or passing thoughts. Now this category can be used in several ways. This neutrality, it can be sort of a holding area, kind of a dumping ground where you never have to deal with these thoughts again, or that you can just have them rest in this area of neutrality so that you can pick them up again later, perhaps after your meditation practice. So this practice is all about intention and concentration. It is also primarily about lessons and being careful not to discard a thought without looking at it. So it says if there's a rule here that you must look at and understand the thought before you place it in any one of these 3 categories. Again, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. We're trying to make all of our thoughts beneficial. This is done through awareness of the thought, resulting in the capturing of the lesson that is contained within the thought itself. It's as if everything serves a purpose. as if there's a meaning behind everything in our lives. Every thought is there for a reason as well. And once we get the lesson, we can then decide whether or not we wish to continue with that particular thought that we might be working with. The decision is yours, but as in most situations, it's nearly always better to let go. If we can be grateful for our thoughts and then be able to let them go, we can make room for the newness of life, the inspired intention of renewal and aliveness. Seeing yourself writing these thoughts down. Now see yourself setting down your writing pencil or pen, whatever you're using, and allow yourself to come to the body and move into the breath. Now we can be present while noticing thoughts, as long as we are aware of the fact that our thoughts have a tendency to mentally pull us into the past or push us into the future. Presence is now, and it's eternal. It is the essence of meditation and of the true joy that we find in life. Not needing to be or do or have anything other than what is happening in the moment, in this present moment. That's the feeling of the essence of presence. Now, if you're able to write down your thoughts, as we visualized just a moment ago, effortlessly being aware of every little thought as it appears in front of you, and then writing it on paper, just very fast and easy. Your thoughts would be so clear that you could decide to categorize them into these three groups, as pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. And we can actually do this. And we can even notice how the pleasant thoughts help us and help others. And these thoughts are pleasant, they're healthy, vibrant, inspiring. They feel like a loving, beneficial energy that comes from within. But we also have unpleasant thoughts. And as long as we don't attach to these things, we're fine. And these thoughts don't have to have any power over us, because they are information only. And they are there as a message. Messages that can be used and learned from, but they are not messages that are there to bother us in any way. Some of these unpleasant thoughts might be reminders. Some are simple habits of the mind, reaching back into the past or darting out into the future. Some of these unpleasant thoughts might be reminders of the past and fear of the future that we are not necessarily ready to listen to or to take in unless we are just simply aware. And so these are lessons that we should be aware of so that we can get them, so that we don't have to blindly set them aside and have to look at them again. And so see yourself writing down these pleasant or unpleasant thoughts or memories, whatever they might be, on this piece of paper. And as mentioned, you might also notice many of your thoughts as being neutral. This neutrality is unrecognized thoughts, or maybe soft thoughts that can safely be noted and placed in a container to view at a later time. So neutrality can be a holding area, an area to place thoughts so as to look at them from a distance perhaps, and from a later time, which is a very common thing to do while in formal practice of meditation. We don't want to be bogged down by thoughts or confusing thoughts, so sometimes it's better just to set them aside, call them neutral, and come back to them later. Now, the reason we're doing this exercise, this formal practice of meditation, labeling thoughts, is so that we can build the ability to do this while we're out of formal meditation, while we're out walking around in the world and doing our work and being at home with our families or whatever we might be doing. To be able to watch our thoughts without attachment, to see the pleasant thoughts, the unpleasant thoughts, the neutral thoughts, to see them for what they are. And primarily, if we can do this and get the lessons that are contained, because remember, these thoughts are coming from the field of consciousness. This is a field that is a part of everyone. This is the oneness of life. Our thoughts come from this field based on many different factors. Memories of the past, things that have to be done in the future that we always wanted to do or that somehow read about or learned about, or somebody else did it, or something that we saw on television. It could be any number of things that creates the thoughts and our desires and our leanings towards the past or pushing towards the future. These types of things are a part of life. And these are the things that create the thoughts that come to mind for us. So I'm asking you to sit in formal meditation for as long as time allows. Set down your pen. No longer visualize you writing down your thoughts unless that's helpful for you. But I'd like to have you mentally place your thoughts in these three categories. This will help allow you to be very, very sharp-minded about the thoughts: unpleasant, pleasant, neutral. And it'll help you move along to the next thought. And after a while, these thoughts will lose any kind of strength, any kind of power, and you will, I can guarantee you will be able to lengthen those moments of silence in between the thoughts. The analogy is the cat poised in front of the mouse hole on the side of the wall of the old house, just waiting for that mouse to appear because he knows there's a mouse in there. But as long as he's watching, nothing happens. He's watching and watching, time after time, moment after moment. And then when he finally lets down his guard, that's when the mouse appears. So that mouse is like a thought. As long as we're watching those thoughts, they're very elusive. You can try it right now. Just ask yourself, what will my next thought be? And as long as you're asking that, there won't be a thought. not a substantial one, not a hard thought. Try it. What will my next thought be? So I ask you to do this exercise for a while. And I wish you the best of luck with it. If you have any questions, please contact me, let me know. But it is simply a practice of being aware of thoughts and making every one of your thoughts beneficial. Just imagine how life-changing that will be. And it can happen, and it will happen if you practice. So please continue practicing. Thank you.